Hey friends and followers, welcome to another episode of Carpool Movie Critique. We're just leaving the theater and it is raining cats and dogs. Today we saw Ocean's 8.
I just want to talk about like the cast with respect to Ocean's movies. So this is the 5th installment, with the first one being from 1960, and then the three
George
from
Clooney.
The three George Clooney's from the 2000s. So in those movies, you usually have quite a big shiny cast. In the 60s, you had Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Peter Lawford. Anyway, like big name
And
actors,
others.
artists, and even the singers or musical talents were actually big actors even back then. In the 2000s, you had George Clooney, Brad Pitt, was it Matt Damon, Don Cheadle? No.
Yes,
Yeah,
love
Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle.
I mean, forgive the accent, but yeah, Don Cheadle!
What a gem.
Yeah.
I really like him too.
He's my favorite.
I wasn't sure how to say his name. Anyway, so that's how it works. And so in this movie, we have actually big name actresses. We got Anne Hathaway. Sorry if I start with her, but I really like her.
I like her too.
She has grown on me.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the subtleties in her acting that I really like. We can
She
talk
can
about that
turn
later.
on the waterworks like that.
Yeah, exactly.
She's come a long way, and now she's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we also got Sandra Bullock. Sorry again,
Sandra
Bullock.
Sandra Bullock.
Just the one, James. It's not plural.
My spirit animal,
Cate
Cate Blanchett.
Oh,
Helena Bonham Carter.
Everybody's favorite crazy cat lady.
Awkwafina.
Well, I said
Rihanna?
no. Sorry. So I was saying big names.
Oh,
So Rihanna.
now we're
shit,
now big
Awkwafina.
acting names.
Oh.
Sorry,
he's
but
just talking about the future.
Yeah.
She'll be big.
I'm
She's
not
great.
saying she's bad. I'm saying today she is not a Hollywood A-list name.
True.
Neither is Rihanna. So that was interesting to see that they actually went and got two artists from the music scene and the rapping scene.
Well, I don't know. Rihanna's
So that
been in a lot of big features recently.
Correct, but she's still not an A-list actress.
Okay,
she is
fair.
not a leader. She is not a lead actress. She's maybe a leader in real life, but not in a movie.
And
Okay.
where are we bucketing then? Dakota Fanning and Mindy.
Okay, Mindy Kaling as well is not a big name either. Neither is Sarah Paulson in terms of movies.
But they're both.
They are
I'd say they're
TV
both
big
solid,
names.
yeah.
They are
Yeah.
very big names in TV, but again, this is Hollywood.
Okay. Fair
Um,
point.
All right, so what are we doing? Are we going down the list of the characters / names and say what we think about it?
I think with 8 solid characters, that's what we gotta do. Yeah?
All right.
Let's do it.
All right, starting off, Sandra Bullock. Thoughts?
Definitely one of my favorites out of the movie. I think she. I don't think the movie would have been anything without her. Honestly, I really do think she carried it. She was kind of like a nice alternative to Danny Ocean, still maintaining a lot of that Danny-ness, but also
Very
being
charismatic.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, it's you can tell from the writing and the performance that they were definitely related.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she did really well. I really like her charisma. I like that in the movie they decided to spend quite a bit of time at the beginning of the movie introducing her character. You know, they didn't do a cheap shot like, boom, out of jail, I'm done. This is what I do. No, it's like you see her parole interview. You see her talking
Yeah.
about the guard. You see that even in prison she was still
Running
doing some
things.
exactly. So they spent some time with her, and I really like that. And they kept building on it when she is introduced to, when we are introduced to Cate Blanchett's character.
And
I
the
think
chemistry
it's Luke.
between those two was just fiery. I
Yeah, really
absolutely
good.
loved it.
Spectacular.
Did you guys notice all of those different hats and accessories that Cate had?
I did
Yeah.
not.
Oh my gosh. So I think at some point, correct me if I'm wrong, interwebs, but there is like a rabbit or a bunny mask that she has on her head,
I
and I'm
did not
just
see
trying
that.
to figure out why. And then the eye mask later. It was pretty quirky and
She's just into accessories.
yeah, very memorable.
Anything else to add about Cate Blanchett?
I love her menswear-inspired attire all the way through, but I'll talk about that more later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she rocks it.
Yeah, I honestly don't remember anything of her performance at all.
Oh.
Yeah, Lady Brad Pitt. Just, I think that you could have had the whole movie without her, and it would have been just as there's nothing to her at all. So dull, no character development, very, very little in the backstory, and
so are you saying it's more of the character or the performance?
I think a little bit of both. Little column A, little column B. Really. Yeah, honestly, a bit of a letdown, Kate. Not your fault entirely, I'm sure. And aren't you genuinely Australian? No. Really? Where was your accent? You're from there. Come on. You can do it. I know you can.
I heard it a couple times.
It slipped out.
Yeah.
And it almost sounded like it slipped out by accident. Anyway.
No, I can see that actually. Yeah, until you said it, I did not really pay attention to the fact that her accent was close to non-existent.
I actually got confused by that. I thought that she was not supposed to be Australian, and then just like the character of the nutritionist that she played at the Met Gala was Australian.
But what was the accent throughout the entire movie? Because it wasn't Australian, wasn't American, wasn't British. It was just a train wreck.
That's interesting.
That's a good point. I don't know where that
just classy, sophisticated,
yeah,
spirit animal.
It's upper crust East Coast. That's
Kelley loves her.
Upper crust East Coast sounds like it comes from a lot of places.
Yeah.
All right.
Then she nailed it.
I mean, Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah, so she was a hot mess, in my opinion, in all of the right ways, though.
Oh, you mean the character was?
The character was.
Yeah, absolutely. And she played it up pretty well.
She did. But that's kind of in her wheelhouse. That's what she does.
And I like how, her role was to be a bad actress in the movie. Like, the character is supposed to be acting almost all of the time.
And that was perfect.
And doing it
badly.
Yeah. And so that it brings the story forward. For spoiler, in the end, something happens, and we know.
And just a point on that, it takes a really good actor to fake bad acting really well.
So there you go.
Yeah.
And it takes a bad actor
to just act
be bad. Do you have somebody in the movie in mind when you say that, James?
I think we'll get onto that later.
All right.
But Remi, so
one thing I liked about her performance is at some point she is delivering things in French, and for once somebody is doing a good job at that. I know, as a French-speaking person who is not French. She did really well. She did.
Yeah, not only was her pronunciation spot on,
she was actually acting in French. Like you have Jodie Foster does it really well because she's bilingual, but all of the time. Every time I see somebody do that in a movie, even I don't want to give names, but
in this movie, the people that are playing,
like the
Cartiers, they are just awful. It's felt very forced.
I don't know. I disagree, but I thought that was fairly natural. One of them was not supposed to be French, though. Only the big shot guy was French.
Was he French?
Well, supposed to be French at least, but I thought the accent was actually decent.
Okay.
But anyway, let's just
agree to disagree.
All right, fair enough. Moving on.
Rhianna, 9-ball.
Except for how useful her character is to the plot, I didn't feel much. It was the only time I thought she was doing something in terms of acting was when she stuck to her sister or something, and that was like 30 seconds, 45 seconds of the movie. Other than that, she didn't have much to do.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there, and I almost feel like the whole sister thing was thrown in just so the character wasn't a stereotype.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just so, it's just added another dimension. Oh, look, she is human, and she's not just a caricature of the Rasta who is inexplicably good at coding.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
Not that Rastas can't code or hack. I mean, I'm sure there are many who can and do.
Not that Rastas can only hack.
Exactly.
Right. People be people.
We dodged that bullet. Anything else about Rhianna? in the movie.
I think most of the big films that she's been in, they've limited her lines.
Yeah.
I was really hoping that after having a few under her belt that they would pump it up, and so I was a little bit disappointed that I don't know, they either didn't give her enough or it was cut out, or I don't really know.
I think I have a guess.
I wanted more.
I think I have a guess because I wouldn't. So again, I don't know her very well, but there's that nonchalance about her that makes me feel like she cannot carry a movie. And maybe maybe that's just what I got from like music videos, from some interviews or whatever, or her performance, but I don't see it. So if I was a casting director, I would not necessarily give her more than what she's been given so far.
Well, and here I've just got to give her the benefit of the doubt. So we've got such a large cast in terms of key characters.
Yeah.
You can't really expect to have a whole lot of dialogue on any one of them. You look back at the Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12, George Clooney really does carry it the way Sandra Bullock is carrying it here with Brad Pitt. And I guess, so here, Cate Blanchett doesn't do quite as good of a job or isn't quite at the same level as Brad Pitt. I can agree with that. But the other characters, it's just little snippets. And so I think that's what Rhianna did. I think that's what she was asked to do. And I could see her holding down a movie. I'd love to see that.
But you could, like, even if you are given just a little, if you are ambitioning to go further, you might be able to bring something more. Like, look at Awkwafina. Exactly. Look at Awkwafina. She had very little to go with, but there was something with her voice, her demeanor, maybe her
timing. Oh man.
Yeah, maybe her character was more interesting, and they're both coming from the same musical background or similar musical background. Please,
well, one's
rap
a
fans
rapper.
don't. Rap fans don't kill me. So similar as in genre, but yeah, I think Awkwafina was a lot more interesting than Rhianna in the movie.
But I think that's because it's a character you can relate to. It's someone you feel like you could know. Whereas, do you know any Rasta hackers?
I don't know any skateboarders. I don't know.
She feels like someone I could have met in high school.
But I feel like that was the acting that did that. Like, she felt like a girl that I know pretty well from law school, and they're nothing alike in terms of what they do. I mean, my buddy's now a lawyer, not a thief, I'm pretty sure.
Isn't that the same thing? Yeah, exactly.
Oh, there we go. Anyway. That's a good lawyer joke.
Transitioning, can we talk about Mindy for a minute?
Mindy
This is my first time seeing her act, well, I believe in a foreign language.
I don't think we saw A Wrinkle in Time together.
No,
yeah.
But I don't think I've seen her act in a foreign language before, and that was kind of fun.
Yeah,
to see that aspect of her, and
she brings that naturalness, that naturalness of people. I don't know. She seems very approachable when she has a character. She makes those characters feel real,
except in A Wrinkle
somebody
in Time.
that you. Yeah, but to be fair, she's not like a real person.
That was a weird.
Exactly.
Let's be honest.
So she did Mindy Kaling, not like the person, but her performance. She brought all the positive,
her skill sets.
All the skills that she has. She brought them to this character, and it worked for her. She didn't have much to do either, but again,
she did a good job.
I have to say, I love the scene where she was in the bathroom. They had this setup for Jewel.
Oh yeah.
Manipulating, whatever. I don't want to give too much away.
The janitor's closet?
No, the bathroom.
It was in the bathroom.
Oh, in the bathroom.
Yeah,
in the baby changing station.
Yes.
Her face when she pulls out all the tools is like, I'm legitimately going to do this right now. I'm nervous and I have to get this done and I'm working on something. It's just like, it sung to me. It was like 2 seconds of eye contact and it was just like, it just sold me. She sold me on her part. I bought it.
Absolutely.
And the only one we have left, I think, is Anne Hathaway.
Well, we've got Anne Hathaway and Paulson.
Oh, shit. Wow. Yeah, so Anne Hathaway, to me, as usual, she did great. The one thing that showed me she still had it was when she broke down when she was trying on clothes with...
in the mirror?
Yeah, because she played it in the face, but her whole body became red.
Yep.
That's those, like, she feels everything. That's what makes her a good actress. She doesn't need a lot of screen time to show that she's on the ball. She's there. Again, Les Miserables is one of the the examples of her doing good stuff.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, no, she's really turned into a real acting heavyweight over the past like 15 years, and it's been really, really nice to watch her evolve into this just incredible actress. And again, I think she really helped carry the film along.
I loved that her character, I thought, from the trailers that she was just going to be this vapid, shallow actress. Yeah. And she is. And there's there's more. There's so much more to it. And I was very pleasantly sort of surprised by that. And also not at the same time, because I've always been a big fan of Anne Hathaway. All the way back from Princess Diaries.
Devil Wears Prada?
No,
Love that too.
Before that. Yeah, she always has that look of the deer in the headlights, and that really works for that.
For this
rat,
character.
Oh yeah,
rat celebrity, whatever.
Yeah.
She pulled it off really well.
So Sarah Paulson.
Exactly.
I love Sarah Paulson so much. She's so good.
Yeah.
It's like really hard not to love her.
Yeah, she's just a
Oh my gosh.
Oh, we nearly died live on camera.
What was that? Sorry. Are you okay?
We're all
Is
good.
everyone okay?
Yes.
We're all about safety.
So Sarah Paulson.
Sarah Paulson's about safety too, I think.
She's just a very likable actress,
Yeah.
and she's again someone who can just take a role and own it. But the one complaint is, and this isn't her fault at all, she's kind of in a sort of role where again she's like a kind of perfect housewife sort of situation, which is
She's typecast.
she's starting to get a little typecast, which is a shame because she's just a magnificent actress, and I want to see more of her. But yeah, good
But in
job
this
there.
in this particular film, so she's typecast in the beginning, and then she kind of cracks out of that.
Yeah.
So we get to see another dimension of
She
her.
certainly has some funny quirks as a housewife.
does.
But that's what's funny, because she uses, like, her character is not a true housewife, right? It's a disguise behind which she still runs her cons. So that's why she was the perfect person to play it. And
That's true.
I think she brought the character to like the same level as Cate Blanchett's character, when I'm not sure she was supposed to be that important.
I don't know.
Fair enough. I think her character was not supposed to be as important as Cate Blanchett's character. Not that it wasn't important in general, but Cate Blanchett was supposed to be like the Brad Pitt. The Brad Pitt in all the Clooney movies was
Like,
way
the
more up
number
there.
two,
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
the right
Like
hand
the lieutenant, yeah.
and Brad Pitt and Matt Damon blended, I think, better as a team, carrying parts equally than Cate Blanchett and Sarah Paulson. Sarah Paulson did rise above a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's not hard seeing as Cate Blanchett's character's only major role was to make a bowl of soup. Literally, watch the movie.
No.
All
At
she
the
does.
no. She's the reason they all get $38 million or something.
Yeah, and that payoff is 2 minutes. It's the last 2 minutes of the movie.
But
And
it's
if you
very
look-
important.
If you look
But that's-
closely,
that
they
is
are
a
not
very
even giving
ocean
her
thing.
soup to Anne Hathaway. It's not the right soup, because she put 3 blurbs of black stuff in it, and
Black
there are only
stuff.
2.
Makes
There are
you
only
puke.
2 in the one that Anne Hathaway
Well, I'm
eats.
assuming that she ate one of the blurbs first.
Nope. You can
We-
see it.
we
The first
saw
time she
that
puts the
soup.
spoon in it, only
What
2.
was the black blurb?
We don't know. I don't think we care.
It was
I
a
do
squash
care.
soup with 3 blurbs of
Because it was
vinaigrette.
vegan. I want to know was like,
Squash soup with 3 blurbs of vinaigrette.
All right, and the last
Blurb is
person
my
on
new favorite word.
the last person on the cast we're going to talk about, and that's going to be old James.
James talking about James.
James Corden.
This is not personal.
This is
Not
not,
at all.
personal.
It's
at
not
all.
like you.
No, this isn't personal. This is not personal.
All right.
Why did you put James Corden in it? Seriously, why? Because James Corden, as successful as he is, praise to him, is not an actor. James Corden is just James Corden.
He's an entertainer.
He is an entertainer.
As James Corden.
Yes. He doesn't do roles. He does James Corden.
That's fair.
I have to
And
say,
I have never really liked any performance of James Corden ever,
James Corden.
because I'm just watching James Corden. And James, I know it's just you being James Corden, Because we went to the Misborn together, buddy. We did.
Same high school.
Same high school. Anyway.
That
Why?
was-
Just why?
I have to say,
Why?
like, I get him as a
Why?
host. I get him as, like, carpool karaoke. I get him
Oh,
as,
yeah.
like, all of that. But it really took me out of the movie
Yep.
because he's supposed to be an insurance adjuster. And, okay, maybe he's, like, a cool insurance adjuster who's, like, really into his job. But I've never, ever, 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 ever met anyone who works in insurance who is that theatrical and pauses like, ugh. It took me out.
Right?
It took me out. man.
Yeah, I mean, my main thought was like, oh, is this just another cameo? Is this just James Corden being like James Corden? Oh no, he's actually been given a part for some really, 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 really stupid reason.
And I understand why you had that confusion, because in the movie they also bring people to play it themselves.
Yeah.
Like Dakota
A
Fanning,
lot
Yeah.
of people.
Katie Holmes, Heidi
Kylie
Klum.
Jenner.
Common, Serena Williams.
Yeah,
But all those
Heidi
choices
Klum.
make sense because they're stars
No,
and we want
right,
the
but
stars to...
that brings the confusion. Like, is James Corden
Is he?
there
Yep.
because he's playing himself or he's playing a role? So that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So we talked about Heidi Klum and all that. So that brings us to a big
Fashion.
portion of the movie, which is about fashion. Amanda,
It's
take
funny.
it away.
So a lot of the movies that we've seen recently have huge credits, and it's all about special effects and writers and like different scouting teams, stunts, tons of stunts. And this one had a very short stunt list. Actually, not very
Like
long in
4
terms of actors either.
Mhm.
But the fashion, oh my gosh, that took up a lot of the credits. And it was, if anyone's interested in fashion, it's a really fun one to watch. The dress that Helena Bonham Carter designs for Anne Hathaway is actually a Valentino. It is gorgeous. This is beautiful cape that goes along with it. And they spent extra time on each character developing their own sense of style through fashion, which is really cool. And you've got all the top designers, and they got Cartier to work with them. They got Vogue to help find the designers that they wanted and set everything up. And you'll see Vogue in the movie. You'll see Cartier in the movie.
Yep.
So it was integral to the plot and the setup, which is cool. And there are some Easter eggs here and there, which are cool. I'm always up for that, especially in interesting ways like fashion. So at the Met Gala, Sandra Bullock's dress, Sandra Bullock, who plays Debbie Ocean, has like starfish and other nautical bits and bobs at the bottom to represent ocean. Debbie Ocean.
It's like
So-
some designer walked on it. Weird.
Yeah.
Not was put into the
Crazy.
gala,
What?
or is it gala?
It's gala, not gala.
Gala.
How dare
Oh,
you? You
actual-
can't work at
actually, I
Vogue.
think you'll find it's gala.
Nah.
Look, it's English. It's an English word. Deal with it.
Is it though?
Probably not.
Well, I mean that's all I've got. I'm not.
No,
I
that's
can't
good.
afford most of that fashion, but I like watching it.
Yeah, I don't think
So.
any of us can. So let's move on to the ratings after we cry about our financial situation. Kelley, you go first.
I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 Bs.
All right.
Because it was enjoyable, but, I'm probably going to forget about it in a couple months.
All right. Fair enough. I'm going to give it a 3.5 because as far as Ocean's movies are concerned, it fit the bill. It's not the most impressive heist of all time. Of course, the Ocean's 11 from 2004 maybe? I forgot. Anyway, the first one of the Clooney's, the heist
Blew me
was
out of
pretty
the
good.
water.
This one was interesting. I think it was written for the cast, and the cast did it really well. So, yeah, nothing too terrible to talk about. So 3.5, and it was a good time.
I agree with a lot of sentiments that you just said there. I can't really give it any more than 2. I mean, the highlights for me were the score, soundtrack, which I feel like we have glossed over, was tip-top, pitch perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know, if you're going to be the next in line in the Ocean's film, you've got to bring your A game. And this movie was just kind of, I've already forgotten half of it, and James Corden was in it.
2.
I'm gonna give it 3 Bs. for basically everything that Kelley said. It was enjoyable. It was, you know, it's a heist movie. I knew what to expect. It delivered what I expected, and I'll probably forget about it in a few weeks.
Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. Next week is actually our baby's due date. So, we might not have... we might not have a Carpool Movie Critique lined up for you, but we do have some amazing original content coming your way. So stay tuned. Bye! Bye.